Y'all got to give me a couple of minutes here. I got to get the microphone set up. Get the other phone set up. We're going to go live on Facebook too. I have gone full bore fat guy with the suspenders because give a fuck. Check, check. We got audio. We got audio. Hey yo, hey yo. I got the blah, blah, blah. I got the microphone on. We should be good to go. Let's see here. Yeah, I got this guy here. Are we gonna shoot a video today? I don't know. It's what it is. I've been neglecting you folks. Shit to do in my personal life outside of YouTube with work and everything. So I just ain't had the time to make videos. Give me a minute here. This phone's about out of memory. It's just a cheap piece of crap, and I don't use it anymore, but I keep it around just for doing these lives. And when I go live with y'all on YouTube, and those of you who follow me on Facebook, I'm live with them too. All right, so what is happening today with this fucking turd grinder I'm working on? I gotta get myself caught up. What were we doing? I want to take apart the rear drum, clean and inspect the brake shoes. We know we need a donut gasket for the header up here. That's not a right now deal. I haven't even looked that up. We just inspected chain sprockets and shit. I made a short about that. So that ain't something we're gonna piss with today either. But I suppose since she's up high in the air like such, we'll go ahead and drop the wheel off of it. Pull out that drum brake. Have a look-see up in it. Not many like decent sized bikes nowadays are running drum brakes. Some are. I mean, like your Chinese bikes, even your entry level Japanese cruisers are running disc brakes on the rear nowadays. This guy is from the late 90s, and he's got a drum brake out back. We up and running on the Facebook yet? Yeah, it's not liking me. Yeah, Facebook don't want to work right. Okay, what are we gonna need here to drop this rear wheel? Wrench for that, pliers for the cotter pin, and probably a 10 or 12. Hopefully the axle wants to come right out. Hopefully, I don't want to have to hammer on it. I don't think I will. All right, get started. Some tools laid out. Now, I have already gone through and soaked everything with PB Blaster. I was fooling with this last couple of weeks ago, and then life just got real busy. One of my coworkers, sadly, is pretty ill to the point where he's pretty much not going to be able to come back to work for a good while. So we needed some folks to fill up some shifts that he works. Since I know how to do his job, I got recruited. So, really ain't had much time to fool with bikes. Last week. That's the name of that game, unfortunately. As you know, this is a hobby, pastime, also a passion for me. I need a 10 and a 12. But my day job, well, it just comes first, man. It has to. I mean, I make a little bit of money doing this, but my day job's way more important than working on these old motorcycles and making YouTube videos for y'all to watch. Man, yeah. Okay, sorry guys, there will be no Facebook Live because this phone's just beat, dude. I use it. I buy cheap phones because they get broken, and I literally got like 3 years out of that one. I was actually kind of shocked. And the memory's about full, so it's being stupid. Okay, what else we need? We need a set of dial calipers because we're going to learn you something, and that's part of the lesson. All right. Calipers. Need a milk crate set on. Where the hell is my milk crate? Over there. I'll make a quick cushion out of this here towel. Make it a little more comfortable for my fat behind. This is all stuff, everything I show you in these videos, this is stuff you can do in your backyard. Okay, that's the reason for doing this. Try to educate folks. You know, I got a couple bikes I don't got to work on, and I take on these projects here. So let's get you zoomed in so you can see what I'm doing. Okay. Hopefully I will not block the camera for you. It's the reason I do this live. It's just a little easier for me to just work on the bike. All right, we're going to shoot a YouTube video while we're at it. Not just live. I actually want to... Not everybody tunes in time to catch these lives. So... I also record while I'm doing this. So let me catch some footage real quick here. Bear with me. We'll start in just a moment. Okay, folks, here's what we got going on. We got drum brakes on this old Suzuki Marauder. This bike sat outside for like 3 years, didn't get ridden. The rear brakes, they worked. The fella rode it here using only the rear brakes because the front brakes did not work. Needed a new master cylinder and needed the caliper rebuilt, which we did that in a prior video. In this video series here, we're going to show you how to disassemble this, how to take the shoes apart, clean everything, lube it properly, reassemble. First thing that's got to happen, we're going to take our dial calipers, we're going to measure this so that we know how far out they were. And we're going to slide these in all the way after we loosen the axle. Oh, fuck. I'm concentrating on two things at once, man. Give me a break. I got to re-record that. It didn't work out well. Hey, what's up? Okay, folks, here's what's going on today. We are continuing on this bike here. The rear brakes are functional. What we want to do is disassemble, remove the drum, have a look-see at the brakes, inspect them, make sure they're still good to go, clean them up real good, lube it, and put it back together. So the first thing that's got to happen is we got to loosen the axle nut here. Then we got to run our chain adjusters in so that we have slack in the chain. Pop out the axle after we take the nut off and drop the wheel. Give me a second, I'll show you what that looks like. This guy sit over here and I can actually get started. What do we got? Did I know when pigeons have sex they die? No, I didn't know that. I really didn't care to know that, but thanks, Buckle 19T or I, whatever you are. Thanks for the information. First things first, bike is on the lift and it's secured. We established that. Get the cotter put out of here. Shit balls. We're gonna need another crescent wrench, ain't we? I guess we can get this cardboard out of here. I put that on because I put that down because I pre-soaked everything really good with PB Blaster about 2 weeks ago because this stuff was just rusted and locked all up to hell and back. And it was just not going to come apart easy. Okay, we'll use this guy on this side. Now, look, I don't know anyone, y'all probably know this. This is something my dad showed me when I was little. Crescent wrenches, when you use these, okay, you always want to put your holding force against this jaw, okay? This can walk around and move a little, right? So if you're going to tighten something, you want this jaw on the bottom. That way, this side here, she's not going to move. So anytime you tighten, pressure goes on that. If you're going to loosen, flip it around where the pressure goes on here. That way, this little movement can block up here. That's not going to move. It's best I can explain it to you. It's kind of self-explanatory anyway. Hopefully this will come right apart for me and not be a pain in my arse. As I said, I lubed everything up really, really good with some PB Blaster. Oh, you rotten devil. Okay, we're probably going to have to put the bike on the ground to get that loose because, as you can see, maybe not. That was a little too tight. Wasn't bad. You're gonna want about 65 pounds or so of torque, give or take, on one of these. You don't go nuts. If that was just a little too tight, that was probably 100 pounds of torque. A little more than I'd like to see, but that is something we can most definitely live with. Let me go get a magnetic tray real quick. What for? To put our axle nut, washer, and cotter pin in. And we're going to switch to this thinner, kind of chintzier wrench because it fits in there better. Well, we got that loose. Let's go ahead and break loose our adjusters. Ah, you rotten bastard, you. Pardon my language. That just smashed my thumb pretty good. That didn't feel good. Same thing on the other side. You loosen the lock nut. Stick a wrench on the adjuster itself. Bust the lock nut loose. Okay. All right. Loosen this back up here. You see how this works? When you tighten this, it's going to pull this bracket, pull the axle backwards, tighten the chain. What we want to do, we want to loosen it up, put all kind of play in it like that, okay? And we are going to take this tire, boom, we're going to hit it a couple times with a rubber mallet and try to kick it forward, get the chain loose. Because homeboy cannot find his chain press. This chain does not have a standard master link. It's not an O-ring chain, oddly enough, but you need a press to take it apart. I can use a C-clamp and show you guys how to do that, but I'm not really into doing that today. Actually, not really into working on bikes today either, but any idea of keeping this project going, we're going to do some stuff today. Okay, we got movement. Yes, we do. All right. We have a couple of options. We can pull this axle all the way through and let it drop to the ground, which is probably going to suck. Or we can try to get the tire to move forward and get the chain slid off the sprocket sideways. That would be the easy way of doing it. And then drop the wheel instead of dropping it all at once. Because as you can see, I got it up high in the air so I don't have to hunch over all the way. Weather's changing, and my back is not happy about it. Less hunching over I got to do, the happier I am. All right, what do we got? Don't move forward enough. Probably not enough to get the chain off, though. Yep, nope, not enough. It doesn't look as though there will be enough. Which means, shitty as it's going to be, we're going to have to take this son of a bitch all the way out. remove our axle nut the rest of the way. Could have probably dug through my pile and found the, I believe that's a 22 millimeter. But the crescent wrench was handy, so we grabbed a crescent wrench. Get the magnetic tray. Everything we got to do, unscrew the brake rod right here. Because this is going to drop to the ground. You need this disconnected for that to happen. Back here, this is your adjuster. As you can see, the tighter you make it, the more, she's going to pull. Some bikes, I know the Honda Shadows will have them. Yeah, this one had it, but somebody removed it. There'll be a little flag that sticks up here. When you got your brakes adjusted right, that flag will be pointing here to here, and it gives you an idea. On the Honda Shadows, on the 1100 series, the drum brakes, so we're talking older, the VT 1100 Shadow Spirit. I think they made it up till 2005, maybe. It still ran drum brakes. The C2 Sabre, and I do believe the Shadow Ace ran a disc, but they had up here a little flag. So when your brakes were adjusted, it actually said over here, replace brakes. This doesn't have that. So we got to physically take it apart and look. As you can see, that came out. I am going to go ahead and just thread this adjusting nut back onto the rod. And we'll go ahead and take this out, stick it in the tray. There's also down here a brace. It's going to have to come off. Watch it not be a 12. And then, of course, it's flipping a 14. There you get a 14. As you hit the brakes, it's going to want to twist this, right? It's going to twist the backing plate the brakes are hooked to. That little brace keeps that steady, so if this doesn't move, and the clamping pressure slows the wheel instead of twisting this. Should be a 14. Of course, I don't think I put any lube, penetrating oil, whatever you want to call it, on that. It doesn't look like I did, so cardboard to it. And we'll give it a little shot. Preferably, you want to soak the bastard and leave it soaked for a little while, but, well, we just didn't do that, so. Cool. No worries. She's going to come right apart. Maybe there's a nut behind it turning. It is. A 14 as well. Feels like it, and it's rounded to shit back there. All right, so we need another 14. Do I have a 6-pointer 14 wrench? I think I do. Pretty sure I do. Maybe not. My collection of wrenches, a lot of them come from flea markets. A lot of them, believe it or not, came from dumpsters when I was a garbage man. Big box stores like Walmart. Take something in return. Harbor Freights, they'll take something in return. Maybe one wrench is busted out of the set. And what they'll do, they'll throw the whole friggin' thing in a dumpster. Well, garbage man, it's savvy to that. He'll get himself up in that dumpster and he'll get them wrenches out. Maybe there's only one or two he needs. But he takes them for his damn self. There's a whole lot of that went on back in the day. Come on, you devil. I'm gonna have to do that a little different. All right. Don't bother me, buddy. You're gonna lose. Somebody rounded the flying crap out of that thing. Gotta get a 6 point on it. $12, $13. Do I get a 6 point? Fucking handy. Of course, 13. $11. Oh, you're a devil. You are a devil. $6.14. Use this little breaker bar on it. And let's use our brain. Yep, we got map gas still. We'll apply some heat. That'll help her. Anyone watching? Well, there's a couple of you. I always had issues lining the back tire up to chain. Rubber bushings to reduce shock at the rear hub. Yeah, it's called a cush drive. Never really want to eyeball them, man. There's several ways. We'll get into that when it's time, but you can use a dial caliper. You can count the threads, how many threads are sticking out, and make it the same. Before you take it apart, if you're really worried about it, you can wind one adjuster. Hopefully it's already straight. Wind one adjuster all the way out and count how many turns. But being as I have, dial caliper handy right there, just stick a dial caliper on it and measure it and make it exactly the same. And there you go. Because you will destroy the chain quickly. And I mean quickly. By having it off kilter like such. Hold that there. That should hold itself on the rim. We get it turned to tighten it. That'll hold itself in there and make life easier. I'll just warm this nut up real quick. Nothing crazy, because that is a nylock nut, and I want it to continue being a nylock nut. There we go. Now she came right off. Folks think you got to make something cherry red. I mean, like, dude, if you're working underneath an old Mack truck or old Chevy truck that's 30 years old, and okay, maybe you need to heat them up that bad, but something like this, it's not too bad. You get away with like 5 to 10 seconds with a little MAP gas torch. Like, look, I can already touch it. You know, you're just warming it up enough that it swells. Once it swells, it'll come right off. This should be a nylock nut. We'll find out. Yeah, it should be a nylock, but it ain't. It's a little different of a setup. That should be zoomed in close to see. See that very bottom thread right there? That very bottom thread is going to be cut a little deeper. It's cast like that, or threaded like that, rather. This digs in, and once it's tight, it stays tight. We will be putting a drop of Loctite on this when we replace it, because if that falls off, you got big problems and no brakes and a big fucking foobar back here that I don't want to deal with. And I'm sure homeboy don't want to deal with it either. See what I was working with back there? Somebody done boogered the shit out of this thing. And you can't just put a nut in there. So what we'll do before we reassemble this, we're going to stick it over in the vise over there and just take a little file and kind of true this up and fix them little boogers on it so that when you put it back together and take it apart, hopefully somebody takes the time to use the proper tools. It's at an awkward angle. It's awkward to get a wrench in there because of your rims right there, which is why we went ahead and went with a 6-point. I have a 6-point wrench. I have a set of them, but it's not a complete set. Thought I had a 14, but to be honest with you, my 14 might be in my metric go bag kit. That I have a go bag kit for every bike that I ride, and I have one for metric bikes. It has every wrench that I would need to fix something on the side of the road. And I don't really worry about putting them tools back in my toolbox. As of now, we are not riding any metric bikes, as you have seen if you're watching this channel. I'm pretty much all Harley Davidson these days. Cool. Kind of cool anyway. All right, we gotta pop that axle out of there. That might want to be a tricky one. Like, we want to do this without dropping the exhaust, because it's Sunday. I have had a day, let's put it that way. And I am just taking some time to work on this tonight. Yeah, see, I can't really, I can kind of get a straight angle on it. Kind of. I ain't really hitting it hard and don't want to booger the threads. Just enough that I can get a hold of it back on this side here. Kind of work it out. Support the wheel with one hand, like that. Work it out a little more. Can I slide this drum out? It would be really nice if I could just slide this out. It would make my life a lot easier. I'm probably not going to get that lucky. Yep. And we'll have to drop the wheel. You rotten devil. Okay, so we got to drop the wheel. Didn't really want to do that, but we'll do it. Okay. All right. We're going to pop our chain adjusters off because these look like shit. We'll stick them in the parts washer, clean them up. Same with this. I'll clean this guy up. But you kind of want this I mean, you got bearings that ride on this, so you don't necessarily need to grease this. I like to put a thin coat of grease on this, simply as any moisture, anything like that, it's going to be protected from it. Chain adjusters. Okay. Let's get our drum. Oh, that cable wants to fight me. I'm going to get the wheel completely out of the way. Okay, boss. This is that cush drive you're talking about. They're basically little rubber blocks inside here. This one's easily removable. But there's fingers that coincide with it. They ride in there, and it just gives you a little bit of cushion. Makes your chain and sprockets last a little longer. Wheel bearings feel good. And they're actually pretty full of grease, which is good. One less thing we got to worry about. And the wheel off to the side. The drum feels good. There's a little bit of wear in it, but it feels pretty good. This is what we were worried about here. This is what we wanted to work with. And by God, it's in pretty good shape. Cool. All right, come on over. Come on over to the bench here. Let me get some stuff moved out the way. Get you guys set up in the bench so you can see what I'm doing. Zoom you out. Hey, that's actually pretty good there, huh? Should be able to see what I'm doing pretty well. All right. Here's the main thing. Make sure you can still see. I got my mic and you can still see. Okay, here's the main thing that we want to worry about with this. As you can see, got a good bit of thickness. These shoes do not look very old at all. They're not in bad shape. Okay. What the issue with drum brakes on the motorcycle is, this right here, this arm, when you pull it, it's going to twist this cam. Okay. That's going to spread these apart. That's where it's going to make friction with your brake drum. See this crusty stuff here? That shit can get clogged up in there, and that can cause them to hang up. Basically, disassemble this quickness. It won't be very hard to do, trust me. We're just going to clean all this up really well. I'll put a little dab of anti-seize on this. A little bit here. Essentially going to put her all back together. So let me get this shit with grease and oil off my hands before I get any more of it on the brakes. And you know what? I'm not going to bother shooting a YouTube video and bore you guys with that. Because to show you that, I got to set up my stand. Dude, I hate making YouTube videos. I love it and I hate it. I like making moto vlog videos. They're fun to do. But these mechanical, technical ones, they suck. It takes me twice as long to fix something. It literally does take me twice as long. And for real, I do it so that the videos are out there if somebody needs to learn how to do something, and that's cool and all. But I don't get the views. So if I'm not getting views, ain't really a whole lot of point in me doing it, right? But y'all seem to like to tune into these and watch these, so this is what I do. Normally, easiest way to do this is pull them up and around like such. There you go. Pops it over like that. Pops it over like that. Keep the springs connected like that because you're going to put it back together the same exact way. All this brake dust and gorp in here, that all needs cleaned out of there. So rather than doing it the hard way, since we have the equipment to make life easy, God damn, I gotta turn that heat down. It's, as you know, I'm hairy and fat as a grizzly bear. I got that thing set at 65. It's now 63 degrees in here, and I'm already too warm. Let's take her over here. Plug this bastard in. Can you see what the hell I'm doing? I guess, yeah. I can get you in close enough so you can see what the hell I'm doing. Huh? All right. Definitely don't want any of this shit. This old rancid kerosene and parts cleaner. Really don't want any of that shit. See, you could flush this out with brake clean. Brake clean costs money. This shit gets reused years and years and years. So, it's just going to do the job just fine. Although we will flush this all with brake clean prior to reassembly. The main thing is getting in here around this cam and getting this cam good and cleaned up. We don't want loose brake dust. This is something, if you're running drum brakes on your bike, like up here in PA, obviously, you know, we get snow, so you're going to shut her down for the winter, you know what I'm saying? Unless you're a nut job like me and you fucking ride in the winter. But it's just something that once a year, tear the damn thing apart, clean the gorp out of here, like this. Put a little bit of lubricant on that cam, put it back together. You do that, I promise you, it'll always function properly. Always. It's probably as clean as this pile of shite's gonna get it. I need to get new cleaning fluid in that. Actually, that smells like Zep degreaser. It does not smell like kerosene. This parts washer was in here when I got the place. Yeah, crusty. Trip on that cord because we're tripping on that cord. And I got a shitty rag. Yeah, here's a good shitty rag. I don't know where this microphone is. Used to putting it up here. Okay. Expensive stuff, yeah. Zep degreaser for sure. Honestly, I don't know. Dude, the only time I've ever used one of these is the shop that I work for, and Boss Man bought the shit, not me, right? So I didn't think about it. But brake clean, it's not that expensive. But it's expensive enough that if I'm going to use it, I'm going to use it as sparingly as possible, right? It's like $6 a can, give or take, for the cheap shit. Maybe $4. Sometimes you can catch it on sale. But to use it as a straight up degreaser, yeah, no, I'm not going to do that when I have this unit right here that I can this fire up real quick and get 90% of the heavy stuff off. There we go. Yeah, see? Muy bueno, muy bueno. Still a little bit of smudge on there. I'm going to clean that off a little better. We want this thing to be shiny. Right there. Get all that gorp. You don't want that on there. Like I said, it can hang your brakes up. Now this is pretty much synonymous for just about every drum brake on every Japanese bike. There were some British bikes back in the day that had 2 cams. So instead of this pin here, you got a cam here and a cam here. But that's mainly your front brake. Most every rear brake on every Jap bike I've seen has been like this. Older Harley drum brakes, they had a juice brake. In other words, it was literally set up like a car with a not master cylinder, wheel cylinder that expanded to make your brakes work. All right. Well, over to the sink area. Now we'll get some brake cleaning. God damn it. What? Oh, that's weed whacker cord. Keep tripping on it, bitching about it. Figure I'd clean it up, right? Went over to the sink. We'll get a fresh rag. Fresher anyway. Yeah. I'm running pretty low on that stuff. I need another can. All right. Okay. Now, the actual brakes, same deal. We want all that gorp out of there. We want this surface and this surface. We're going to pull the springs too. We want this surface and this surface spotless. Same with here. But we're not going to use, obviously, the degreaser shit from over there. I don't know if that is, Zep degreaser, or if that is just kerosene. To me, it smells like straight up degreaser, but I don't know. So I really don't want kerosene on these brakes. You know what'll happen. We don't want that at all. Most of it's going to come off with a rag. Let's get the heavy off. Before we get out the spray that costs money. Yeah, see, there's a little bit of grease that someone had put on there still. Let's see, what do we got here that don't cost money, huh? We got this stuff. Those of you who know me from my past life, you might know what was in here. Wasn't from a store. Whew. And that's not the part of it you drink. That's the part of it you throw the fuck away because it'll make you blind. Also known as moonshine heads. Well, it's basically a cocktail of acetone, methyl ethyl ketone, all kinds of nastiness, ethanol, alcohol. I just keep some of it around. I keep it down here because this shit dries up Won't rust anything. Dries right up like brake clean. Honestly, it'll function like brake clean, and it'll take grease off of anything. Look at how dirty that was. Little swipey dipe like that. She's clean. Good stuff. And it was something I would normally have poured out, but I saved it. I have not imbibed any of that or made any of that in, oh man, almost 5 years now. Clean and sober, baby. I drink coffee, I smoke cigarettes, and I allow myself a couple of cans of cherry Pepsi every week. Straight up, not diet or zero. We live different lives, don't we, nowadays, compared to what we used to. Oh, there's still some stuff in there. We want that gone. We just want this unit clean before we put it back together. We took the time to take it apart and inspect it. We're going to take the time to clean it before we put it back together. Look, see, on that gorp, I can kind of scrape it. We got this stuff on the rag here. It'll take most of that right off. Then we'll hit them with some brake clean afterwards. But the heavy lifting was done with this special solvent that I have that smells like rotten fruit. I used to be a wild man. Make her own whiskey and her own smoke too. There ain't too much these old boys can't do. Yeah, yes sir. Yes sir, that was me for a big portion of my life. And let me tell y'all, those of you who are going through that and you enjoy the drink and you enjoy maybe a smoke now and again, something other than tobacco, you know what I'm saying? When I was doing all that, you know what I didn't have? 2 badass Harley Davidsons. You know what else I didn't have? A big giant garage with all the tools I needed to do anything I want. You know what else I didn't have? About 4 months worth of income stashed away for an emergency and the Harley Davidson fund. And when I was enjoying my life with the booze and the other stuff, I didn't have a whole lot of much, but some beat up old motorcycles. Now, gotta put you, I'm gonna get a little religious, gotta put you in all kinds of positions in life, right? In a way, I'm glad the good Lord put me in that position, because now I know how to do all this stuff, because I had to learn to do it. Now I can show you guys how to keep your bike up and running with basically no money. And that, at the core, is exactly what Phoenix Motorsports is all about. Keeping an old motorcycle running with little to no money. All right. Get you over in the corner. All right. Here's how we reassemble. It doesn't get a whole lot simpler. Line the shoes up like such. Hook your spring. Hook your spring. Hook your spring in. Hook your spring in. Now, as you can see, it's they're a little tight like such. Actually, I have these springs hooked wrong. I am apologizing for that. I want them both on the outside. Okay. That hooked in there. And when the brakes are loose like this, they're not in the bike and they're loose, you can put them springs right in. You don't need to stretch them. You don't need special tools. None of that bullshit. You just do it with your hands. It's much, much easier to do it that way. All right. What are we going to use for lube? Anti-seize, or do we want a dab of grease? Gentlemen, before used grease, I've used grease many times. I think we're going to stick with what we know. You know, anti-seize would probably be the better option because it's not going to attract dirt as bad as grease, but I don't know. Pretty much every bike mechanic does this way. You don't need much. Like, that's enough for the whole works here, the whole operation. Either side of the pad, like that. Outsides of these cams, like that. Okay. And I need to get a screwdriver to stir this grease up. I've had this for like 5 or 6 years. And just a little bit around here. It's really not going to have much movement over here, but you're going to dab just a little bit around it. Just to keep things from galling up. It's going to be taken apart next time it comes apart. And we'll get our solvent soaked and great clean soaked rag and get the grease off my hands. This is nowhere near as hard as some folks make it out to be, but you watch, it'll make a liar out of me. You see what I got going on here? Okay. Move smoother. That little bit of grease is doing what it needs to do. And we've inspected this. We can see it has a little wear. You can see where the wear spots are now, but his shoes are plenty thick. These are bonded. They'll go for a whole long time, but you get an idea here how far down you can go on these. So these are still serviceable. They're going back in the bike. We don't need new brake shoes. Why would we put them on? This project is being done on a budget. We're just ensuring that this motorcycle is going to be safe for the person who's going to ride it. I'm an hour deep. I'm going to work a little more here. And I think we're going to call it quits in a little bit. Let's get the drum. Oh! Let's get the drum up on the wheel and the brake drum and all that up on the bench. Let's give it a quick inspection. You guys see what's going on? Okay. Well, we've established right here the crush drive, cush drive, whatever you want to call it. It's in okay shape. Okay, there's no deterioration or cracks. So that's in good enough shape. We don't have to worry about that. And a good bit of grease in here, so I'm not necessarily worried about popping out these wheel bearings. Is there a bitch to do? If you see inside there, get it right up underneath. I'm going to show you how these come out. Of course, from that angle, you can't see it. In betwixt here, there's a tube of metal like such. You kick that tube of metal to an angle. Let me grab a screwdriver. Where did I put it? Kick that to an angle like that, and then you can grab onto the edge of the bearing like such, and they'll usually tap right out. And honestly, they don't need to come out. I don't need to fool with them. If we don't need to do something, we're not going to do it. We are going to clean this up. Let's see if I can get a pick into that seal. And if I can get a pick into that seal, we're going to introduce fresh grease. That would be nice if we can get a little grease into that bearing. But essentially, that's what you got to do to get the bearing out. There's zero play in these wheel bearings. We don't have to worry about it. They don't need replaced. Ain't broke, don't fix it. But if I can possibly get this seal picked out, I'd like to maybe touch a little extra grease in there just to do it. If the seal is not going to want to come out. Oh, starting to go. Okay, there we go. As you can see down inside there, there's still fresh grease. And this bearing was in really good shape. So we're not really worried about it. But since we're in here, let's see, grease looks like shit. Let's take a screwdriver and fix that. It will separate over the years. And like I said, I've had this can of STP grease. I think I bought this goddamn thing in like 2016, maybe 2017, something like that. I think I actually bought this when I was working on one of the first bikes to ever make it to this channel. Nobody watched it because I was a Pew Pew channel, but my old Yamaha XS 1100. Smash them down in there like that. Okay. Replace the seal. It basically just presses in. I don't necessarily need fancy tools for that. Okay. And get some fresh grease in there. We're going to have to clean that drum out. I don't know if I touched it or not, but we'll spray a little brake clean on a rag and swipe her up. Let's try to do this the easy way like that on the other side. If she'll let me do it. I would prefer the easy way. No, that has a hard seal on this side. We're not going to be able to do it that way. You bugger. And this is a pressed in bearing. We could attempt to try to heat this up and get that bearing out. The only really way to get it out is to, like I said, kick that little spacer inside there to the side. And then you can get a bite on the bearing. When you put it back in, you need a socket or something to put it in it. Let's see if she'll move. I don't think it will, because I'm not that concerned with really trying to. No, I'd have to get a brass drift pin to get that out, and it's not being a problem. Let's not create a problem that we don't have, right? So let's get some brake cleaner on a rag. Don't need much. And we'll just go around the inside there with some brake cleaner. Give that away. We'll reinstall the brake drum. Okay. There's your drum brake maintenance. Older bike drum brakes like this, you should be doing this every winter. You know, it's simple enough. Wheel off, pop them out, tear it apart, clean everything real good. Little dab of grease, put it back together. It's literally that simple. Like, you should be doing it every year. All right. Now, put the son of a bitch back together. I'm either going to have to wrench my freaking back or I'm going to have to lower the lift. I don't know if I want to mess with that today. I think we might just call this good for the evening. Tools out of the way here. All depends on how good my back's feeling tonight. I don't really know if I want to mess with this. Because I gotta go to work in the morning. Whether it hurts or not, you know what I'm saying? Okay. Ooh. Homie, you need a new back tire too. Dude, you need 2 tires. Ooh, I didn't even see that. Come here, I know you're watching. You know about the cracks in the front tire. You've seen it. Get you over here. Look at that. It ain't the whole way through it, but look at that. You need a new rear tire too, brother. That sucks. That just added fucking $120 to the price of this. That sucks. You want to put it back together now with that tire on it, but you need a rear and a front tire, buddy. And that's not safe. It'll get the bike home, but that's no good, dude. Absolutely no good. The chain and sprocket is still somewhat serviceable, so we'll go ahead and we'll reuse the chain and sprocket. I will not buy new ones, but you absolutely need a battery. You absolutely need 2 tires. You can't get away with what you got. It's not safe. It's not routable, bud. Can't do it. I can't, in good conscience, let you ride this with what's on it. Not gonna do it, bud. Someone will get hurt. No way. Can't let you ride out of here like that. No decent friend would, man. Sorry. We gotta get you a tire for the back. Gotta clean this up a little too. We got our. Get some more solvent on this rag. Where did I put that jar of solvent? Did I put it back? Where the hell did I just had? Oh, here it is. Some solvent on this here rag. Clean that up a little bit. This is why it is important, especially with an older motorcycle. You should be doing this if you got a decent bike. Like when this bike's done, you know, I may squeeze in a Thanksgiving ride. We haven't had salt trucks everywhere up here yet this year. They hit the bridges. But I may squeeze in a Thanksgiving ride or something. So I haven't started on either one of my Harley. But I made videos on that throughout the past that I don't completely tear either Harley down for the winter, but I get into them and I check every little thing. I just do it. I'm the one going 100 miles an hour down the highway on a damn thing. I want to make sure I'm not going to die while I'm doing it. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Get that cleaned up. And we're going to take, oh, see, there's a little booger of build up there. I'd like to take that off. That's actually rust. It ain't catching a fingernail. It'll be right. We're going to take a little thin swipe of grease the whole outside of this thing before we put it back together. And it is not necessarily for lubrication. It ain't needed for that. It's just to have a little coating on here for moisture and keeping things from rusting, as well as when I slide this axle back in place, and a little bit of lubrication will help. It'll make my life just a little easier. Not much, but a little. Honestly, I don't even really want to put this back together with this tire on here, bud. She's bad. Like that dry rot crack through the center's wicked. That's some wicked stuff. Let's go ahead and stick these guys in pressure to the cleanup chamber. Clean them up. I forgot to do that. Let's clean these guys up real quick. Rag. Oh, that one's no good. That one's soaked in oil. All right, so I think we're gonna not put the rear wheel back together on this bike today. And I'm gonna talk to homeboy. I will see him tomorrow. See what he wants to do. I mean, dude, it's your bike. I'll release it out of my shop like this. I don't care, but you better not be riding it nowhere but home, or I'm gonna whoop your ass, because that's fucked. The front tire is worse. That back tire is bad too. You just couldn't see it because it's dry rotted and cracked in the center. I mean, I have seen worse, but not much. That thing's fucked. You need tires, buddy. Now you look on here. Not all bikes have this. This does. This is how you can ensure that they're lined up straight. There'll be a mark somewhere on the swing arm that you'll line these up with. We're not doing it that way. We're going to go ahead and just measure with dowel calipers. But that is your drum brake inspection and yearly cleaning and maintenance. You got to do that with your drum brakes every year, I feel. Some bike mechanics will disagree with me on that. I don't care. For me, it's brakes. You don't play games with your brakes. So every year they should be inspected. Like I promise you, I will be pulling those calipers off either side, pulling it off that, pulling the back, and I will be inspecting the pads. And if they're anywhere near halfway worn out, I'm going to go ahead and put new brake pads on it. That's just what I'm going to do. You know, I'm going to inspect the inside of calipers. I'm going to flush the brake fluid. That's just, it's brakes, man. You can't play games with brakes. So I'll go ahead and I'm just going to set these pieces off to the side. And I'm not going to put her together until I talk to homie tomorrow about it. See what he wants to do. We've been looking for a chain and sprocket set, you know, both of them. I'm trying to do this as cheaply as possible, my dude. And I found a good set on eBay, brand new. It's even color matched to the bike. And I put a bid on it, but I've been waiting. I've been bidding on this part for 2.5 weeks, trying to get it for what I want to pay for it. Man, they're not budging. They ain't having it. So I'm hoping eventually they'll get in and they'll realize that nobody wants what you got. And instead of asking $100 for it, you'll sell it to me for 50. Because that's the name of the game with eBay. It's a waiting game. It's like an auction. No one else has bid on it. I'm the only one who's bid. And I don't want to pay full price because I'm a dick. I'm literally trying to get it for half what they asked. But hey, that's how you do. You go back and forth. As far as the battery, this motorcycle needs a battery. There's none of this. Just put it on the charger. No, you got a dead cell in the battery, bud. If I can get it to hold 12.3 steady, I'd say okay. I can get it to hold 12.5, and as soon as I pull the battery tender off of it, it starts dropping in minutes. You need a battery. We will put you a cheap one in there in the spring. I'm not going to put a cheap one in there and let it sit all winter now. We're just not doing that because you're just pissing in the wind at that point. So that is the name of the game. I know, man. Smoking's bad for you. You know what else is bad for you? Watching my videos without liking and subscribing. Do me a favor. If you watch my shit, you treat that like and subscribe button like it owes you money and smash it for me, will you? Let me flip this around. I think I'm done working here for tonight. And can I read some of the commentary? A little bit. Yeah, we're not going to bother making YouTube videos out of that. Oh, we're just going to do the live tonight. Because that's what we're doing. Fuck it. All right. Let's get back over here. Look at our list of what we got going on. Wrong color. Rear brakes are good. We are going to cross the chain and sprockets off. We had a better look at them. Honestly, being as we're doing this on a budget, this bike's not going to see a whole lot of miles. Maybe 1 year, and then the person it's going to is going to upgrade. When we do have the appropriate tire mounted up, we can put the rear wheel back to it. We will go ahead and just soak that chain down more, clean it up more. I may I may in the next week or so pull it off, scrub it up real good, and soak it. We're going to let the chain ride because now we know we definitely need 2 tires. So, add to the list. Need 2 tires. And we definitely need a battery, buddy. I can't really rig that for you, battery shot, dude. So what I can do is I can get you a cheap, basically not ready to go battery where I got to add the acid to it myself and then charge it. And that's how we'll go about that, because I can pick one of them up on eBay for 25, 30 bucks. And we'll save you some money on that. You may only get 1 season out of that battery, but it'll start the bike, it'll run the bike, you'll have no problems with it for a year when you let it sit over the winter. Those cheap batteries like that, they're not the best. You know, a good battery, 225 to 250 bucks, it'll last you 5 years. But we're looking at getting this machine rideable for homeboy so that he can run it around a little bit in the spring and summer when he doesn't feel like riding. He's got a new bike, newer. I think it's only like 2 years old. It's got a Can-Am Spider. It's not really a bike, but that's his ride. But he misses this bike, and his daughter would like to learn to ride. This is a little bit much bike for her, but it sits low enough she'll be able to do it. So my main thing was to make sure it was safe as possible, and bare bones minimum so that it's going to be safe and reliable. We took care of the brakes front and back. We took care of the bad clutch safety switch that was going bad. We fixed that. Yeah, we're at bingo time. There are 2 things left before this thing's ready to fire up and ride out of here. And that's going to be a new battery. Well, 3 things, excuse me. 2 tires, it's going to need a battery, and there's one more thing. You're probably still watching, but I'm going to show you this right now, and it's on the list. Front header, bad gasket. The header's loose, okay? Let me show you. Let's get you an angle where you can see. Okay. Look. If I grab this, shouldn't be able to do that, bud. Okay. These are acorn nuts. They're only going to get so much tighter. I could put a wrench on it really gently. I did soak them, but not as good as I would like to. I don't think they're going to tighten up anymore. Behind there, inside there, there's like a copper crush. It looks like it's made of copper, but it's like a crush thing that it's probably shot. Yeah. Yeah, see, those are not loose at all. Let me put a 12-point, a 6-point socket over top of it so that I am 100% sure that they will not be rounded. But you're not going to make that tighter, okay? That movement in there, you can even see a little bit of exhaust blow by. Those gaskets are very cheap, bud. They're only a few bucks. Okay, that moved a little tiny bit. Yeah, I gotta get a wobbler for that. These are good to have in your box, okay? This is called a wobbler extension. You can see how it's funky shaped and what the deal is. Instead of a swivel, this gives you just a little bit of leeway, a little bit of movement. For a tight space and you don't quite want to swivel, that's not even going to work with a fucking wobbler. I promise you, I don't think it's going to get any tighter, and I'll take the air cleaner off to try to get it more. I like this little short 12 I can put on it and try it. I don't want to round these because these are a mother when they get stripped. And it was a little loose. I don't think that's your problem though, bud. I think you need a gasket in there. Because honestly, these only get put on snug. You don't really crank them. She's still turning. Oh, it's starting to get tight there. That would be kind of sweet if that fixed your problem. Because then I don't have to drop your exhaust. Okay, let's see. Never mind, dude. It was just loose. Your gasket's probably good. Good thing I put a wrench on there. It's hard to reach, so I kind of didn't want to mess with it for real. That's all that was. Okay. Good deal. Awesome sauce. Saved you a couple pennies there. All right. Let's see. Look back here. Yeah. Okay. Good deal. That saved you a couple pennies. Gasket might still be shot, but your exhaust is not ready to fall off. I assumed that that's what the problem is, and well, you see what that got me. All right, that's one extra thing that we can cross completely off the list. So we're down to 2 things left, man. You absolutely need a battery. You absolutely need tires. What else are we going to do? For real, I think the last couple of things that we're going to do with this bike is we'll disassemble your throttle so you can see the cables exposed. We're going to take some of this stuff. Every motorcyclist should have a can of this, okay? Real nice flexible straw. Open your throttle up, shoot this down your throttle, both sides on the cable. You don't want to lubricate the throttle slide. Leave that dry because this will attract dirt. You don't want that slide to bind up. We'll lube your throttle cable. We'll lube your clutch cable. All right. It's 6:30. I'm going to go get cleaned up, watch some TV, pack it in for the night. I thank y'all for watching. And I'll catch you on the next installment when I get a decision from Boy what he wants to do, how he wants to work this. Yeah, it is what it is. There's certain things I don't play games with, and tires that are that bad, man. I can't let you ride it like that. If you want to ride at home, that's cool. I'm gonna kick your ass if you ride this thing around with tires that bad. All right, man. I will see you guys later. I'm gonna go chill for the rest of the night.